Dr. Nilesh, are we live?
Yes, sir. It's live now.
Okay. Very good evening to all of you. We are the medical legal team of Young Ophthalmology Society of India. And this is our new team. Our president is Dr. Divakant Misra. Dr. Sonal Kalia is the immediate past president. Dr. Karun Bhatia is vice president. Dr. Nilesh Kumar is general secretary EOC. And Dr. Aditya Sethi is treasurer. And Dr. Prasanna B. Ramesh, he is the joint secretary currently. So we also have a new face in our medical legal team, Dr. Riddhi Sethia. She is practicing in Mumbai. She also has PG DML degree. I am Dr. Kaushik Tripathi. I practice in Kolkata. Dr. Aarti Heda is practicing in Pune, and Dr. Deepanshu is practicing in Indore. So from medical legal team, we have already covered 21 important aspects in medical legal ophthalmology, and today is 22nd session. So we are very happy that our mentor, Dr. Anand Deshpande sir, who is a medical legal expert and director of Guru Prasad Netra Rugnalaya, Aurangabad, has agreed to talk on medical legal aspects of transplantation of human organs and tissue act. So our panelists include Dr. Prakash Marathe sir, who has been our mentor since the beginning. He is a consultant ophthalmologist at Netrogi Eye Clinic, Pune. He is the past president of Maharashtra Ophthalmology Society, Pune Ophthalmology Society, and Indian Medical Association, Pune. He is a member of Legal Affairs and Expert Group Committee, AIOS. He is the chairman of Maharashtra chapter of IS-MICS. He is past managing committee member of AIOS. He is past senior vice president of IMA, Maharashtra State. He has multiple awards. Our mentor is Dr. Manoj Chandra Mathur sir, who has also been guiding us from the beginning. He is a senior consultant in glaucoma and comprehensive ophthalmology at Swarup Eye Center, Hyderabad. He is presently the honorary treasurer of AIOS. He has been past advisor and president of Telangana Ophthalmology Society and Hyderabad Ophthalmology Association. He is the co-chair of Health Insurance and TPA Committee of AIOS. He has been a member of Medical Legal and Ethics Committee of AIOS in past. He has been twice the member of Managing Committee of AIOS. He has also served as a member of the advisory board of Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. Welcome, sir. And we are grateful to have Dr. Anil N. Suchak, sir, who is medical director of Suchak Hospital and Healthcare, who has been an active member of IMA in various roles, including managing committee member, vice president, joint secretary, past vice president, and ex-joint secretary. He is the fundraising chairman for MMA for buying new premises. He has received multiple awards, and he has launched Indian Liver Foundation to help guide and counsel the end-stage liver disease patients and counseling pre and post liver transplant patients. Thank you, Anil sir, for joining us. And today's speaker is Anand Deshpande sir, who is the director and eye surgeon at Guru Prasad Netra Rugnalaya at Aurangabad. He is the chairman of Indian Medicolegal Consulting Services Private Limited. He is the co-chairman of Legal Committee of AIOS. He is a
Let's
faculty of...
correct it now as chairman now. Again, I have become chairman.
Okay.
Okay, sir. And he is a faculty of law and visiting professor to of Symbiosis Law College, Pune. He is faculty of management sciences, BAMU Aurangabad, and he has written various books like legal aspects in ophthalmology, and also he has drafted the consents which has been published by AIOS. Thank you, sir. Now we'll go to sir's presentation directly.
Thank you.
फुल स्क्रीन करा सर.
हो करा लो. The Transplantation of Human Organ Act 1994, Act number 42 of the 1994, This was act made for transplantation of the organ. About me, everything is told, so there is no question. Life is gift to the someone. So what is that? When you are giving an organ to somebody, you are giving life to him. And so it is always a good thing that you are giving somebody life. And that is a very important thing. What is organ donation? Organ donation is the process of donating organ or biological tissue to a living recipient who is in need of a transplant. So that person should be living and he should be in need. Transplantation is the transfer of organ cells and tissues from one location to the other. Any part of the human body consisting of the structure, arrangement, or tissue which, if wholly removed, cannot be respected by the body. Any part of the body that performs specialized function is an organ. So this is the definition of the organ. Tissue that can be transferred under the current technology, including bones, cartilage, bone marrow, corneas, heart, thymus, kidneys, intestines, lungs, pancreas, and so many. Nearly all organs except few we can transfer, and also we can transfer the blood and its constituents also. So steps in the process, organ from deceased donors are matched with the different recipients, blood group and size offered to the first patient on the waiting list, and if suitable, transplanted. So there is a waiting list for every state, or there is a national waiting list also. Because of that, the whosoever is first in the waiting list, the organ whenever available, it is matching is done. In case of a cardiac death, it is possible to donate corneas and tissues such as bones, skin, veins, blood stems, stem cells, blood and platelets, tendons, ligaments, heart, valves, cartilages. Rejection is the process where the body fights of the newly implanted organ. So if the organ is or the tissue is rejected, it is not accepted by the body, so it becomes not useful. The appropriate authority. Now we will go a particular words which are legally there in the act. The clause number 13b means the authority appointed under section 13 by central government or state government. Competent authority means the head of the institution or committee constituted by him for carrying out transplantation. So it is at a local level, and the first is at a higher level. Authorization committee means the committee constituted under clause A or clause B or subsection 4 of the section 9. There shall be one state level authorization committee, and additional may be at a district or institution or hospital level. So after the state, there can be local committees. Authority for removal of human organ or tissues, including I, subjects to the provisions of the section 3 of the act. A living person may authorize the removal of an organ or tissue, including I or his or her body, during his or her lifetime for therapeutic purposes as specified in the form 1, 2, and 3. So he can give the donation form fielded whenever he is alive. The Tissue Act 1914. The act legalized brain death, making removal of organs permissible after proper consent. So proper consents are required, and there is a legality, and everything is there. The notification was passed in 1995 and is known as the Transplantation of the Human Organ Rules 1995. The act is different and rules are in the act, so they are less than the act. The amendment was passed by the Parliament, and Act is now as the Transplantation of Human Organ Act 1911, and the rules were notified in 1914. So maybe the rules can be changed time to time, but the act remains the same. And it aims of putting a stop to live unrelated transplants. What is the use now? This is
My class is going
yeah.
on.
In case of live relation transplant, if defines and the
I will
donor
not
and
gain the
recipient
knowledge. That's it.
are genetically related with an exception if the transplant is done with prior approval of authorization committee on an application jointly made by the donor and the recipient. So it accepts stem death criterion. So all these are to be done. This is the aim. The purpose of the act: regulation of the removal, storage, and transplantation of the human organ for therapeutic purposes. This is the main purpose of this act. But another side by side, another purpose is also there, and that is a prevention of commercial dealing in human organs and matters connected therein or incidental therein to act was financing. Because whenever this act came, it was seen that the commercial use of many people were doing for it. Maybe the person who is donating, maybe the doctors, maybe the hospital, or somebody else's in between. And that to stop this act is useful because there is a punishment for that. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare notification, New Delhi in 1927 and March 14. Central government hereby makes the following rules. These rules may be called as the Transplantation of the Human Organ and Tissue Rules 2014. Authority for removal of the human organ or tissue subject to the provisions of the Section 3 of the Act. So in the Section 3, the how the organ can be taken, or it can be human organ or tissue can be taken, the details are given. A living person may authorize the removal of any organ or tissue of his or her body during his or her lifetime for therapeutic purposes in the manner and such conditions as specified in Form 1, 2, and 3. A living person also can donate the organs, but there is a limitation. He cannot donate his heart when he is alive. Like that, the limitations are there, but mostly, and the few, some organs are also can be taken after the death. The eye donation is something different. The main provision is for living donation. If it defines who can donate the eye when alive. Donors are allowed to donate the eye by filing different forms and taking a permission from complete authority as defined in Rule 2C or Authorization Committee. Here also, a living person cannot donate his eye. He can do the formalities and keep it in after the death. It can be given. It was sometimes back. The cornea used to be given, but now also at present it is also stopped. Donor, any person above 18 years of the age who voluntarily authorizes the removal of any of his human organ for therapeutic purposes. Living donors are classified as either a near relative or a non-related donor. A near relative needs permission of the doctor in charge of the transplant center to donate his or her organ. A non-related donor needs permission of the authorization committee established by the state to donate his or her organs. Deceased donors, cadaveric donor, the organs are called cadaveric organs. Cadaveric donations require prior consent from the patient's donor and or the donor's family. Here the problem is that even if he has given the permission, he was alive and he has given proper form fielded and everything is there, still the person who is after his death, who is the in charge of the body should give the permission and then only the organ can be removed. That is the hitch in between this organ in India. Centrally, to become an organ donor, one must sign a donor's card. So even if he has done all the formalities, and if his person, that is the family members, who they refuse to give the donation cannot be taken from the body, and that's why there is a less donations in the in our country. Hospital includes a nursing home, clinic, medical center, medical or teaching institute, or therapeutic purposes, and other like institutes. So what is the hospital? At these places, the transplantation organ can be taken or organ can be transplanted. But two organs are such that can be taken anywhere, and that is the eye and the middle ear. So remaining organs should be taken where the registration is there. Near relatives means grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, brother, sister, spouse, son, daughter, grandson, or granddaughter. According to the Transplantation of the Human Organ Act 1914, the next kin of the patient will decide whether to donate or to deceased organs. So, who is having the authority? That is also enlisted, and that is the family members with the authority to do so is generally determined by this hierarchy. So, there is a hierarchy also. If the patient, that the adult sibling wants to donate, but the spouse doesn't want to give the organ, that organ cannot be taken, because there is a hierarchy also given, and the hierarchy says spouse, adult child, parent, adult sibling, and a legal guardian. So this is the sequence of giving the permission. A deceased person, a person in whom permanent disappearance of all evidence of life occurs by cessation of the brain stem death, or in a cardiopulmonary sense at any time after live birth has taken place. So when the live birth comes and the death happens, then the deceased person's organ can be taken with permissions and all that thing. Notification. A notification published in the official gazette. So that is called a notification. So these are the words which are specified by law, and they are having that specific meaning, and that words are used in that meaning only. Prescribed by rules and made under this act, and recipient a person into whom any a human organ is proposed to be transplanted. RMP, a medical practitioner who possesses any recognized medical qualification as defined in the clause H of the section 2 of the Indian Medical Council Act 1956, and who is enrolled on a state medical register as defined at class K of the section. So he is permitted to take the donation or remove the organ from the body. Therapeutic purposes, systematic treatment of any disease or the measure to improve health according to any particular method or modifying. The transplantation, the grafting of any human organ from any living person or deceased person to some other living person for therapeutic purposes. Grafting is different from transplantation because it does not remove and replace any entire organ, but rather only a portion. So transplantation is blood transplantation, or transplantation may be a part of the, as doctor has undergone the liver transplantation, as he said. So that is not whole organ is removed. A part of the organ is removed and transplanted. But in some organs, that like kidney, one has to remove whole organ and do the transplantation. So organs or tissues, for the donor may authorize the removal of any human organ of his body for the therapeutic purposes in the manner and subject to specified continuation as may be prescribed before of his death. If any donor or any time therefore is death, the presence of two or more witnesses unequivocally authorized in writing the removal of any human organ of his body after his death for the therapeutic purposes and unless the person lawfully in possession of the dead body of the donor has any reason to believe that the donor has subsequently revoked the authority so after the hospital has to grant to a registered medical practitioner all reasonable facilities for the removal of the therapeutic purposes of the human organ from the dead body of the donor. So hospital also has to cooperate. So that is again continued. When no such authority as is referred to the subsection 2 was made by any person before his death, but no objection was also expressed by such person, means even if he has not donated the organ, but his the relatives or the possession who is having the cadaveric possession of that body can permit the donation. Authority given under section 1 or subsection 2 or as the case may be, the subsection 3 shall be sufficient warrant for removal for therapeutic purposes for the human organ, but no such removal shall be made by any person after than the registered medical practitioner. So for removal of the organ, a registered medical practitioner is required. Other peoples are not authorized to remove the organ. When like this, when any human organ is to be removed from the body of a deceased person, the registered medical practitioner shall satisfy himself before such removal by a personal examination of the body that life is extinct and in such body or where the appears to be. It means that the person who is taking the organ, he should satisfy and confirm that the life is over and the person is dead person and it is a body and it is not live. Unless he confirms himself, he should not depend on the death certificates or anybody saying that you can remove this. He should satisfy himself. Where any human organ is to be removed from the body of a person in the event of the brainstem death, so no such removal shall be undertaken unless such death is certified. For brainstem death, also there should be a body, there is a committee and there is permission and the brainstem death is certified by the such committee and then only they permit to take the organs and then organ can be taken. So not a withstanding anything contained in the subsection 3, wherein brainstem death of any person less than 18 years of age occurs and is certified under subsection 6, any of the parents of deceased person may give authority in such form and in such manner as may be prescribed for the removal of any human organ from the body of a deceased person. So in case of the children which are below the age and such things happens, the parents or the custodians can give the permission. Related genetically, the donation can be done during lifetime by filing the form 1, 11, 5 and 19 that the donor is a near relative of the recipient as certified in the form 5. So in kidney donation, liver donation, they have to fill the form 5. Grandparents, mother, father, brother, that already we have enumerated, that he or she has submitted the application in form 1 jointly with the recipient in form 11 and the proposed donation has been approved by the competent authority as defined in Rule 2C and specified of the form 9. So there are many rules, regulations, formalities and permissions and certifications. And we have to remain in that because we have to stop the malpractices. And lot of malpractices may happen in this field. Donation can be done during lifetime by filing the form 2 and 11. That in case of the recipient is spouse of the donor has given a statement to the effect that they are so related by signing a certification in Form 2 and has been submitted an application in Form 11 jointly with the recipient, and that the proposed donation has been approved by the competent authority under the provisions of subsection 2, Rule 2 and Rule 7. So even donors are there, recipients are ready to take, even then there is authority who sanctions all this even after filling the forms, and with the sanction of that committee and the authority, then only the donation can be done. That the donor who is other than a near relative of the recipient and that or she has signed from 3 and submitted an application form in 11 jointly and proposed donation has been approved by authorized committee. So all these are the steps. So authorities in certain cases, no facility shall be granted under subsection 2, section 3, and no authority shall be given under section 3 for the removal of any human organ from the body of a deceased person if an inquest may be required to be held in the relation. That is that whenever there is a medico-legal accidents or death is where the cause of death is not there, and there is a chance of some criminal things and inquest is required to find out the cause of the death, or if the postmortem is required. In such circumstances, the organ cannot be taken unless the permission is there from the concerned department, that is the police. No authority for the removal of the human organ from the body of a deceased person shall be given by a person to whom such body has been entrusted solely for the purpose of the cremation or other disposals. Whenever the postmortem is over or the inquest is over and the body is handed over by the police for cremation or for disposal, in such cases, from that body, no organ can be taken for donation purposes, even if permissions are given by the relatives. These are the forms which one has to fill when donation is to be done. And this is a big list of forms which one has to go through and fill the forms wherever particular things are required, and they have to fill the forms. The registration of the hospital under the Act should be there. No other hospitals can give the donations. An application for registration shall be made by the appropriate authority as specified in the Form 15. And a application for part 1, part 2, and part 3, cornea transplantation center, eye refractive center, and eye bank. The certificate is issued in Form 16, Rule 24(2). Form 16, certificate of registration for performing organ tissue transplantation, retrieval, and or tissue banking. So whenever tissue is removed, one can store it, that is a tissue bank, and that for purposes, special permission and registration should be there. The removal and storage networks these are the national and international networks where one can register and find out which organ is available where and when it will be available, and all they can do the correspondence and all the things they can do through it. The requirements are the defines the facilities, transplantation equipment, and manpower requirement. All these requirements in the hospital are required. Similarly, guidelines and operating procedures is tissue bank. The person who is taking the organ, he should be qualified. He should be able to take it, and qualifications are defined as transplant surgeon, cornea and tissue relevant techniques, transplant coordinator. So where the transplant is used, that is also should be registered, and the person should be quite efficient do that. For that purposes, he should be surgeon, and all these things should be there. Committee regulations and the fact. So these advisory committee shall consist of these people, and so all these will be there in the advisory committee who do the advisory actions in brain stem death and also in the cadaveric and also in living. So this advisory committee is very important in this act. The committee consists under clause 1 or the clause B of the subsection 4 of the section. There shall be one state level authorization committee. Additional authorization committee may be set at a various levels as per from the given below, namely the number of transplants team of the institution, that is institution level, and also district level and state level. The hospital based in the metro and cities, and for if the transplantation exceeds 25 years at the respective transplantation center. What is that? Anything?
Nothing, sir. You can continue.
Yeah. If transplantation are less than 25 years, then the state or the district level authorization committee would grant approvals. So these are the rules, regulations, how it goes on. And this is the medical practitioner, two senior medical, this is the state committee, that is, and then the two senior, is it visible from above or it is being masked? I think. Is it headlines are visible to you?
Yes, sir. We can see your slides.
Yeah, the whole slide, but upper portion. State
At
district level.
least, yes, we can see it,
Yes,
sir.
you can see. Okay. Now I can say I was not able to see. The state district level authorization committee, and these are two senior citizens, non-medical background, are also there in the committee, and the secretary health also is there. So all type of the people who are required, who are neutral, they are also taken in this committee. Appropriate authority under section 13. Who is the appropriate authority? The grant, renew, suspend special registration of the authorized hospital or tissue banks, as the case may be, to enforce prescribed standards. So all these things can be done. Investigate any complaint. So whenever there is standard is going up that state hospital or the center, that is inspected by the concerned authorities. If there are complaints about that center, that are investigated. Inspect hospital or tissue bank, as the case may be, periodically. Actually, verification of the organs is also done in the bank. So it is power to a civil court, and the undertake such other measures as may be prescribed as the powers of a civil court to summon any person, request documents, and issue such warrants. So this committee is having the powers of a civil judge, and in concerned things they can do or order the people to appear or give the record. The authorization committee regulates living donor transplantation, process of authorization to approve, reject transplants, and every case of authorization of the organ transplantation related to residual of the organ country should go through the committee. The proceedings to be video recorded and decisions notified within 24 hours. Appeals against their decisions may be made to the state or the central government. So everything is seen that there should not be anything wrong going on, because the organ transplantation is always blamed by so many people, particularly the societies, particularly the general public, or the misunderstandings are also there, and unnecessary allegations are there. To stop it, it is tried best their way to make it transparent, and as far as possible, illegalities are stopped. In brain death, the irreversible coma, unreceptive, unresponsive, absence of all cranial reflexes, no spontaneous respiratory efforts, all these are there. Brain is irreversibly lost, and heart can continue to the beat. Even though the heart is beating, lungs may be taking this or may not be working, but heart is beating, and so brain is not beating and there is no chance to recover it, the patient is kept adequately ventilated and hemodynamic stable so that the organs should not become waste. Therefore, the only time to donate vital organs is if you are in a hospital and have been declared brain dead. So if it is a declared by a brain dead by a proper committee, by a proper authority, then only the organs can be taken. So there is also health organs possible, heart and lungs about your 4 hours. The liver and pancreas must be transplanted within 12 hours and kidneys within 24 hours of the retrieval. Skin can be donated within 6 hours from the time of the death, and perhaps more if the body is in cold storage. Do not dark skin can be effectively frozen and stored up to 5 years. All organs are stored at 4 degrees centigrade, and secondary to a multiple of the physiological abnormalities, graft survival from the brain dead donors to be living and unrelated donors is more successful despite better HLA typing. So all HLA typing is done, everything is done, and it is tried that the organ should not go west. Express of the brainstem death certification is for how the body is made. Medical board, that is 4 doctors, registered medical practitioners in charge of the hospital, independent registered medical practitioner, panel of names, approval by the appropriate authority, neurological neurosurgeon, where a neurosurgeon is not available, any surgeon or physician and anesthetist or intensivist nominated by the medical administrator and registered medical practitioner treating. So the person who is treating also a member of this committee. And offenses and penalties. The punishment for the removal of the human organ without authority is 10 years punishment, and that is a 20 lakhs penalty. So if that is a punishment 10 years is very good bar to not to do any illegalities. Money there, when anybody can deposit and that can be done. But there should be punishment only, and as there is a 10 years punishment. In case of the medical practitioner has name shall be removed by the appropriate authority to the respective state medical council for taking necessary action, including the removal of his name from the register of the council for a period of 3 years for the first offense and permanently for the subsequent offense. So his registration also goes. Any person who renders this services to or at any hospital and who conducts or associates with or helps in any manner in the removal of the human tissue without authority shall be punished with an imprisonment to a term which may extend to 3 years and a fine which may be of 5 lakhs. So this was all legalities and formalities, committees,
How will you
rules,
drive?
regulations for that. And organ wasted are lives lost. So if you are not able to donate the organ and the organ is wasted, that is one life is lost, because the organ doctor saves lives. Life, let's pass on it. So let us see that with the organ, life will be passed to the other person. Recycle yourself, become an organ donation. So that is, we are saying recycling of the plastic, recycling of this, that, why not the organ? And we are now recycling our organs so that that can be implanted in new body and the body starts again. So that is a recycling also. Be a donor, be a hero. So whenever you donate the organ, you become a hero and the people like you like anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anand sir, for the detailed talk. After listening to your talk, I just realized that I hardly knew about this topic. So we have with us panelist Dr. Prakash Marathi sir. Sir, would you like to share your views on this topic?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Yossi, for giving us the opportunity and taking this medical legal webinar series forward. In spite of change of body, I think you have taken this initiative in the last committee and you are taking it forward with the new committee also. I must congratulate Yossi for that. And I think young ophthalmologists must know these medical legal topics. So they are practicing, they are very good in clinical as well as surgical aspects. And today's topic was very important, that is organ donation. As this is the ophthalmologist forum, I think we are mostly related to eye donation. And cornea donation, eye donation, that way simple. There are no critical legality involved. There is no critical legality involved. Rules and regulations are not that tough for eye donation. But there are various organs like liver and kidney and heart. If you have seen, like the surgeons, those who are doing liver surgery and heart surgery, and that way they are getting in trouble, kidney surgery. So most of the times you have seen that there are many instances that the surgery is being done, but they are being blamed doing kidney surgery and liver surgery. So surgeons, they are doing very great job, but probably they are lacking in these rules and regulations. They are doing the humanity job, but they are lacking the rules and regulations. I think this particular webinar was covering all those rules and regulations which everybody was supposed to know. And with me, my senior colleague from IMA, Dr. Anil Suchak is here. We have invited him as one of the important panelists because he has worked on organ donation. He has got so much vast experience on these topics. And basically, I shouldn't afraid of disclosing that he is himself undergone liver transplant surgery. So his experience from knowledge point of view of organ donations, as well as legality, whatever he knows. Because liver transplant and kidney transplant, most of the times we have read in newspapers as well as watched on televisions also, people are in trouble. So I request Dr. Anil Suchak for his inputs on these topics.
First of all, let me congratulate Dr. Deshpande for his excellent talk. He has covered up almost all the rules and acts in relation to the human organ transplant. The most important issue what I see now today is awareness, organ donation awareness. You know, we should, in the IMA, in the Ophthalmic Association, each of our consultant member or a doctor or a general practitioner. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are audible.
Yeah, should be given a standard organ donation awareness presentation, which are very simple for lay people. In all societies, associations, Rotary clubs, Lions Club, schools, like every school in 9th, 10th, 10th standard, if the students are made aware of the importance of organ donation, more and more people will come forward because we do not have enough organs till today. The most important thing is if the awareness is enough, more people will volunteer to give. It is not only the celebrities who come and make advertisement for organ donation, but as far as if you are aware, there was a movie made on organ donation, a very beautiful movie, and which was made by this Nasiruddin Shah and his wife, and there was a Pune hospital. Very beautiful It's like a documentary. If one sees, it's in a story form, but covers up all the rules and regulations as well as the need of organ donation. So I would recommend people to go on YouTube and check it out. You'll be able to see. I'll share the name also in some time. As well as I will like to also mention about, liver, kidney, and all other organs. They need big hospitals and all. There's no question about it. But as far as eye donation is concerned, even place like my hospital or even some doctors are trained general practitioners who come and remove the cornea from the home of each person. Also, they remove the skin I don't know whether he'll mention about the skin. Skin is also to be used for people who are getting burns, severe burns and all. There in Bombay, in New Bombay, we already have a skin bank. So whatever skin is collected in Bombay is taken to the skin bank in New Bombay, Vashi. And most of the points he has covered. But I would urge all the associations to make our doctors as the propaganda people for organ donation awareness, which is very, very important. I had a liver transplant almost 17 and a half years back. I had 2 tumors of cancer in my liver, and I was fortunate to get a organ from a live donor from the family. Otherwise, it becomes very, very difficult. My life wouldn't have been saved. But that is one of the reasons. And after that, I was absolutely so fit to go for 7 marathons, standard charter marathons. I ran 6 kilometers in 7 marathons. I have given almost like 500 talks on organ donation awareness in different forms and places. Also, I have counseled about 350 to 400 liver transplant patients. Counseling is not only to the patient, but to the family, to the donor, and it takes about 4-5 hours for each patient to counsel. So I have been doing that job for last 15 years, and I'm very happy and proud of what Dr. Deshpande is doing. And this job should continue more and more. More awareness should be brought, and more centers. See, it is only all the big transplants, the people who are high middle class or rich can afford it. What about poor people? So we have to urge to the state government and central government to make more provisions and organ funds for poor people who need organ donation, who want to be recipient in organ donation. Only rich people can afford it. So that also is one of the factors which needs to be taken care with the health authorities. The budgets in the health in our country is quite low. It needs to be increased as other countries. And you also mentioned, Dr. Deshpande, about the cardiac death, a sudden cardiac death in Scandinavia countries and all. Immediately they are taken to the OT, and all the heart, liver, kidneys are removed in about 20-25 minutes. And those organs are also used for. So that becomes a big chunk of donor organs for in the cadaver this thing. So that is not practiced in India as yet, because the rules are not allowing as such. So rules will need modification, improvement in course of time, and that needs to be given feedback from all the doctors, either who are doing transplant or the association heads who are conducting such seminars.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think my next input is regarding cornea, because this is ophthalmologist forum and most of the things on other organs
Yeah.
have been covered by Dr. Suchak very well. One important thing is like a country like Sri Lanka, which is very small country as compared to India. There are so many corneas available, and they are exporting cornea to other countries, whereas in India we are in shortage of corneas. So that is because of the rules and regulations. So one important thing government must do is the compulsion of organ donation. So because of various reasons like religious reasons and other that, people are not donating. So if the strict rules are there, probably we'll be getting more and more organs. That is one thing. Another question to Dr. Deshpande sir and other panelists is, Deshpande sir, while donating the cornea, I think there is one point which is discussed is about the secrecy, that one shouldn't know that whose cornea is given to which person. Whereas in operations like liver transplant, kidney transplant, most of the times the recipient and the donor may know each other. So
No.
what's your say on that?
Only from the family.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Not from the cadaver. They don't know.
No, but means they know each other. That's what I mean, that they know
Yeah.
each other. Whereas in case of cornea, what is your say about secrecy of donor and recipient?
The thing is that
Hmm.
the secrecy is made by the law.
Hmm.
Whenever a person is alive and he donates his organ, to other person, that is kidney, liver, that is okay because they are near close relatives or something like that. But whenever you donate the cornea cannot be that can be fixed to anybody and he starts seeing. So there can be litigations that what you are saying because of me and I should have money and all that. Lot many problems are there. For that purposes, the Sri Lanka has made a law. Whenever a person dies, the body of the dead person becomes the property of the
The
nation,
state.
and that is not the property of their relatives. So the relatives' permission is not required in Sri Lanka. Directly, the team can go and take the organs. But India, that is the property of the India for it. So one has to take the permission. Another thing is cornea. Cornea can be donated, but it is kept very, very secret that to whom it is transplanted. Because many times, if the transplant goes west, the person will say that I have donated the cornea, or my person's donated cornea is gone west and you are not utilized well. So many legal properties are there. One can sue for that, and all these for that purposes, it is kept in some organs confidential.
Thank you, sir. I think one of the important question came to my mind that we have heard about eye donation in living person. In rare instances, I think it is noted. Can you throw
Yes,
light
there
on that
is
particular?
eye donation in living in self.
Hmm.
Suppose you have lost one eye with the glaucoma,
Hmm.
and your cornea is good, but other eye is good and everything is good, only the corneal opacity is there. In such circumstances, law also comes in between. You cannot do the transplantation unless the permission is there. And in such circumstances, the permission is given for a living person to donate his cornea for his own.
Correct, correct. And
Very
one important comment is nowadays, I think artificial corneas, that is the new research going
New
on.
thing.
And if the artificial cornea comes in the play, probably eye donations may not be needed that much.
Yeah,
And there are
there is a
various.
camera which can be fitted in thesis bulb and that is communicated. That is, it is practically working nicely in many things. Many.
Namrata
And
madam is here with us. She has been doing work in artificial cornea, and she is an expert in corneal transplant surgery. So, ma'am, are you there?
Time will come when artificial cornea will be there.
hello, unmute yourself, Namrata ma'am.
I think she is not there. She was there.
Hmm.
So, in AIMS, they have been doing this artificial corneas also. They have published large series.
Very
Ma'am,
good, very good.
Namrata ma'am? I think she's not there.
So meanwhile, Dr. Kaushik, we can take some questions if we have. I have a question for Dr. Anand. Sir, given the fact that you have so vast experience when it comes to medico-legal aspects in medicine, have you come across any cases, medico-legal cases which have been put on the doctors for any mistake done in the organ transplant? Or maybe for an ophthalmologist and non-ophthalm person as well?
There is no case in mistake, that is a negligence or not to the standard or anything. But there are cases where some illegality has happened. And in such cases, the cases are few, but in corneal transplantation, very, very litigation is very less.
I can add to doctor's comment. Is
Sure, sir.
a couple of authorization committee have failed to check the documents, and the documents were falsified by the patient's relatives. I would not like to name the hospital, but it was in the papers, and that hospital lost its transplant facilities, cancelled, and the doctors were jailed. And also, there was a bar for 3 years of practice because it was not doctor's fault, but the authorization committee checked the passports and all those things, which looked like normal, but they were all manipulated passports. Actually, it is a job of the police to verify, not the authorization committee or the hospital committee, ideally. But there's no other way. But in future, with the Aadhaar and all, with the eye confirmation, the new rules will come where such mistakes will not happen, or such things will be. You know what people do? This gentleman married a young lady in Gujarat, and brought her after 6 months or 1 year to Mumbai for a transplant of his own. And the wife was ready to give as this thing, and all the papers were wrong. These people did not verify from the Gujarat state authority the papers, and then somebody complained, and the trouble started. Money was promised, and money was not given. So such illegal transplants has to be discouraged and stopped, and strictly those people should be put behind the bars. In
So
80s,
identification.
I'll mention earlier, in 80s, late 80s and 90s, lot of people from Europe, America, and Middle East used to come and buy kidneys, and the whole kidney business was flourishing in southern part of the India. And there was one village where more than 200 kidneys were sold from South India. I don't want to mention the name. And this was like a big business. Money was given. People were, to save their own farmland, they had to sell their kidneys and all. And such things had to be stopped. That's the reason that 94, the law came to stop all this nonsense. Now, at some places, they are still occurring, 1 in 500 or 1 in 1,000. But it should not be allowed in such things, basically.
So identification of the patient is very, very,
Very
important. Donor and recipient.
What happens, sir?
Hmm.
Authorization committee is not police. I may not be able to, if I'm part of the authorization committee, I do not have the eyes of my police officer to check the passport, whether it is real or not. People fly outside India with the wrong passports. So that is job of the government has put the status of the authority on the authorization committee. It needs to be, modified gradually. Otherwise, we need more liver and more kidneys for transplantation because organs are not available. There is a long queue for kidney, at least 2.5, 3 years, 4 years. Liver also about 1.5, 2 years from cadaver. From live, there is no problem at all.
Sir, I have a question. If one of my family member has like chronic kidney disease and needs a transplant, and there are no relatives or no family members who match those, or the family members are also ill, they cannot transplant, cannot donate the A. So what are my options here? Because
See,
I know that.
if it is a genetic blood relative, then there's no problem. You get the permission from hospital or the authorization committee. But if it is a cousin or somebody from the wife's side who wants to donate, and there is no money transaction, you can go to the High Court, get the permission, you will get the authority permission for the transplant. There's no question about it.
Yes,
And
court permission is there.
yeah, court permission
Provision
is
is
there.
there.
And a lot of patients are getting it from Bombay. I have seen so many patients getting the permission through court. And they are honest donations. If you remember, there was a first donor outside Maharashtra, was Kerala. One father was there of church who says, I've got 2 kidneys. Let me donate 1 kidney. So he was allowed to donate to a friend or some unknown person. And then number of other such people have donated. But that is all through court, all the legal authorities. That's not part of the rule.
I think Namrata ma'am was there in between. She unmuted. Hello, Namrata ma'am, are you still there? One more important thing about various I-banks in the city like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, and even Pune, Hyderabad. There are various I-banks running, and each I-bank may have their own waiting list. In that case, there is confusion that the eyeball may be available, but the recipient on top priority may not be contacted. So common waiting list, that is the priority. Maybe city-wise, one has to take the initiative. And that way, when the corneas, when they are available, probably the first needed person, recipient, is to be called in the near vicinity. That is the important priority the eye banks should do, so that haphazard waiting list shouldn't work at various parts of that particular city. Dr. Riddhi, you are the new person from UC today. Do you have some feedback? You may unmute yourself. Unmute.
Unmute yourself.
You are muted.
Unmute.
Riddhi.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Yes, I have thoroughly enjoyed the session. I have a question, if I may.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure, you can ask.
Sir, if I wish to donate the eye of a relative, but being in Bombay, and if I wish to probably pledge the organ to another eye bank in another city, what is the provision by law? How is that permissible? Is it permissible or no? And how do I go about it?
it's
The
permissible.
rule is that you can give the donation from anywhere. Where you die, the nearest of eye bank will come and take the corneas. It is
Okay.
not that the eye bank which is having the form only can come and take the cornea. That is the rule that any eye bank which is nearest or which is approaching to the cadaver will take the eye. And there is no need, even if the form is not filled up. And the relatives are ready to donate.
I think it is the nearmost eye bank because within 4 hours you have to remove that
Yeah.
Right.
cornea and eyeball. And suppose the donor is from other city, and if you are calling surgeon from that city, is not practical. So
No,
what
it is
Dr.
not
Deshpande sir has said, nearmost eye bank should be contacted.
Yeah.
But what your next question is, relative from other city? Yes, of course. If the cornea is preserved in the proper way, and it can be sent to other eye bank or other center where the eyes can be donated, and recipient from other city definitely can be benefited. In case of cornea, probably there are no complicated rules and regulations. The complicated rules and regulations are there in case of liver, kidney, heart, and other things.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not
Even-
for
even-
cornea.
A lot of people go to the other state for operation, and they need a NOC from the state where they are residing. Like a donor is from Maharashtra, and you're doing a transplant in Delhi, so you need a NOC of the Maharashtra state government,
Okay.
and then you get the transplant done at the others. So they have to go on for 2 interviews. One at the donor has to go for 2 interviews. One at the state where he belongs, and one at the transplant center where the transplant is being held. So that is, and all the counseling and interviews are under camera. Big 2-3 cameras are put, and each person is interviewed in details by the authorization committee for each permission for the transplant, live transplant.
I think organ
I
transplant
think,
is a much needed thing, and there is humanity involved in it. It
Absolutely.
has to be so much straightforward that the recipient wants and donor gives. But there are people, black sheep in the society, maybe from medical profession, may not be from medical profession. They were taking undue advantage, and hence these rules and regulations, which are very strict nowadays, that they are the real hurdles in organ donation from recipient point of view as well as donors point of view. So much of money is involved, so much rules and regulations are involved. So it is definitely the complicated procedure. People really are fed up. Even doctor who wants to do the surgery, most of the energy is wasted in that rather than bringing the organ from various city. Like heart is brought from one place via helicopter or via ambulance, and then it is reaching to other place where operation theater is well set and other team is ready. So apart from that, rules and regulations is the main hurdle, and hospital and doctors are wasting their energy unnecessarily because it is a human tendency to break the rules and regulations to make money out of it, and hence probably this organ donation has got that black thing.
See, outside India, a lot of people, celebrities from India, prominent politicians, I would not name, you will understand what I'm talking about. And some actors, they've gone to Singapore for the organ transplants. They have taken a donor from India, made their passport legal, right? For this thing. And in Singapore, they allow, if the consent is there, they take the organ and they transplant. So a lot of politicians, actors from South and from this side have got the transplants of the organs done outside India, mainly Singapore. And some of the people have gone to Sri Lanka also for, I'm talking of liver and kidney. They have,
I think Dr. Riddhi's question was that can a relative give consent for eye donation if the relative is at a different place? So I think it was all about
yeah,
the consent, isn't it, Dr. Riddhi?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
So
Yes, yes,
yeah.
definitely. A relative also can give consent from anywhere. Probably what Dr. Deshpande sir has said, there is sequential relatives.
Yeah, it's good.
There is a
But
sequential,
sequential
and
relative.
the thing is that if the relation is at a distant place, rather than the person who is available at the place, they are more considered, because who is speaking and who is giving the call cannot be considered. Anybody can say that I am such and such and I am giving the
Hmm.
permission or I am refusing it. And even the video calls may not be sufficient. So the rule at present, actually, at least, give the permission as per hierarchy. The person who is available with the cadaver gives the permission.
I think about the pledge and wish and will of the person when he's living and
Yeah.
writing about that, filling the form about eye donation, that way is useless. It is only for campaigning purpose. Basically,
Actually,
after his death, someone from his relatives has to motivate and say that the eye donation has to be done. So basically, it is that step after the death that the eye donation is to be done, rather than filling the form and saying everyone that I am going to donate.
yeah,
It is a
that
practical step
is
which has to be done afterwards.
only to influence the relatives that the donation was done and I have to fulfill his
Wish.
will.
Wish.
So for that is the mental pressure to develop the forms are there. Otherwise, legally, they are of no use.
Sir, I would like to deviate for a bit in the wake of the recent events. Of course, recently the Kolkata incident got a lot of limelight, which it did deserve indeed. But initially, when the issue was very fresh among only the medical fraternity, the AIMS doctors of Delhi were the first ones to go on a strike. The AIMS then released a circular stating Article 21, wherein doctors are not allowed to go on any strike or any form of a protest. So, where do we as doctors stand with respect to raising our voice if we do not have the right to even have a peaceful protest? If at any point somebody states Article 21, then where do we stand as doctors?
So,
I think in
Dr.
simple
Riddhi,
language.
Dr. Riddhi, I would like to interrupt here. We have a lot of viewers here. We really don't want to get any controversies or anything. I think Dr. Kaushik and Dr. Dipanshu will agree with me on this. Let's stick to the topic for today. Our topic was purely on organ donation
Only one liner,
yeah.
only one liner from my side, and then we'll close that discussion.
Yes, sir.
Basically, we are stopping the medical services, routine medical services, but emergency services we are offering, and that is escape. We'll stop the topic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Kaushik, you're there? Do we have
Yes.
Namrata ma'am with us?
I contacted her, but she is not responding.
Yeah, so sure. Do we have any more questions from any of our audience or you, Dr. Kaushik? If not, then over to you for vote of thanks.
I thank my team members, Dr. Aarti, Dr. Dipanshu, and Dr. Riddhi. And we are always thankful to Dr. Anand Deshpande sir, Dr. Prakash Marathi sir, and Dr. Manu Mathur sir, who have been guiding us since the beginning. We are grateful for to have Dr. Anil Suchak sir, who have guided us and have given us guidance on various aspects of transplants of various other organs other than eyes. And I think we learned a lot about organ donations today, and we'll be better informed about that. And as Anil sir said, we have the moral duty to at least increase the awareness about eye donation and other donations, because they cannot be manufactured elsewhere. So only it can be transplanted from one body to another. So if we do not waste the bodies after death, many more people can be actually saved. Their life can be saved, as Dr. Anand Deshpande sir actually told, that it is like giving a life to another body. And even if you are giving an eye, this eye actually is remaining forever in another person's body, and it is helping them live and helping them see all their life. So this is a noble act, and it actually makes you immortal, like at least makes you live twice. Thank you. Concluding comments from Dr. Prakash Marathe sir and Dr. Anand Deshpande sir and Dr. Anil sir. Then we'll conclude.
I think we have discussed thoroughly on this topic of organ donation. This being ophthalmologist forum, we have restricted our discussion mostly on corneas. And I think all the doubts in the minds of all participants must have been cleared. Of course, as ophthalmologists, most of us know it is our duty that we must promote eye donation everywhere in the country. As ophthalmologists, our job is to save the vision, save the eyes of our patients. But this is the social responsibility in which we must take interest. This is not the part which is to be neglected on our part, and we should take this mission forward ahead in each and every part of the society. Let it be more popular and bring light to the blind people, those who are blind due to corneal blindness. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With this, we'll conclude this session. Thank you, sir. Good day.
Thank you.
Okay,
And good
bye.
night.